The title,
What?
Board Talk.
Board talk. Welcome to the board meeting.
Never gets bored.
Anyway, welcome. My name's Erik.
I'm Kari, and this is KHEM Studios and our By Design talk series. So today we are hitting up on, we're about to go into the major entertaining season. So that means we're going to have to actually, have people over and do stuff and
Welcome.
But one of the things for us, cutting boards has been an important part of our whole design process, and to us they're not just about like as tools in the kitchen, they're also something that we've put a lot of design consideration into, which some people might think we're crazy for giving so much focus, but it does make a difference. And so one of the things, we're going to be talking about some specific things today, but Erik, I remember there was a specific photo and it was during a time period when a lot of people were doing product shots where they were like holding, you would only see like the arm and the product. And so we have this great shot of outside and, just this massive, absurd board. Do you want to talk a little bit about like that?
First, it was just, we wanted to see what like a board would be, like what would it involve to make a board. Can't be that hard, right? So we started, we came up with a really small one, the mini monster, which was that big, and total flop. People didn't like it. There wasn't enough space on it, but we were learning and the edges were kind of crude. And then we went to the monster, and that kind of people liked it because it was larger. And then we started refining the edges, so it wasn't just like a clean silhouette. And then we went to the Mega Monster, and I think that was just too much time in the studio. Like we were just kind of like, well, let's just keep on making it bigger and see what happens.
Statement pieces.
And it really worked well. I mean, it was very difficult to do that, classic, like hold the product out. It was more kind of an endurance, painful thing because it is large. But it is a workhorse, but yet it still is beautiful and it's a clean line. So it crosses a lot of marks off. Like you get a beautiful thing to put on your table as a centerpiece. It actually is functional too. You can just load the bejeebas out of it and come out of the kitchen with it onto the
and
table.
This time of year is the time of year. One of the reasons why we're talking about this is like, this is one of those things that it was a fun development, and it's also been a really fun thing for us to like show people and for people to use and to see how they use this board. Because when you think about a lot of presentation boards, I mean, this is you can use it just for special occasions, but we've also seen like people that use it down the center of their counter island, and it's sort of like this grazing board kind of thing, to kind of more formal stuff where it's like a dessert board or a crazy charcuterie board. And so I think this board in particular clearly ignited a lot of culinary aspirations and fun for a lot of people, which was great to see. And the design really is part of that, because it's just beautiful when it just hangs too. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's also kind of one of our tried and true.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the basically high quality wood is just the beginning, and how it's made is the next, and then last is, well, what do you do with it? And we just wanted to have fun with it and to get other people that were getting interested in cooking, serving, and having people over, communal kind of activities, to give them the palette that really is like, when you go to their house, you're like, wow, did you see that board? It's absurd. So, and it also looks, it looks nice hung afterwards. So
and it's
just a nice
fun
piece
to say Mega Monster. So you'll notice like we've got certain like naming conventions with everything, and it's not totally random. It's like at that time, we were really thinking about, these mega sort of things that would be fun, because it was basically during COVID that a lot of the cutting board collection sort of evolved and came out. So it was also there was a certain boredom or like whatever factor, but now it's evolved. I mean, it's a really sort of interesting product.
Well,
because,
yeah.
you know,
But we were also doing a lot of markets. So we were
yeah,
getting lots of
yeah,
feedback. So people would, we would literally just on Saturday or Sunday do a market. And then we would be like, we'd have people come and say, I like this, but it's too heavy or it's too light, or it needs to be wider. So that feedback, we would just go back in the studio and kind of do a maquette. And then the next weekend when we were at the market, kind of show it up. And sometimes we'd see the person and
rapid prototyping.
and it works really well. I mean, that's the nice thing about the markets is that you kind of have farmers markets, but also crafts markets, whatever. Really, it's nice because you have that back and forth. Actually, that lead into the the Mega Whalebone, which is this guy. That was a request, and we just looked at the measurements at first, and we're like, "That's just huge. It's not going to work." And long and behold, it's the best board to use because you just load it up. Little secret, we just put the full dinner on it, bring it onto the table, serve everyone, and then
And it keeps the surface clean. I mean, I'm like always having this conversation of like the groove, right? The groove and the handle are weirdly enough like very controversial things to have on a cutting board, and it's sort of like a weird thing for people to like the handle allows you to comfortably move from the kitchen to the table, and also just sort of as you're navigating through social spaces, like the handle is very important. The groove for I do a lot of cooking in our house, and
Sorry.
that no, it's okay. I like cooking.
Yeah.
But the groove, it really does help keep like everything contained, and especially like, when you're bringing something to the table and the Mega Whalebone, it's something that is large enough that it is actually a very useful tool on the countertop because it's not super thick, but it's thick enough that it's super stable, and it's just a lovely, like it's again one of our best sellers, and I think it's because it serves a need, but it also hits like a design aspect as well.
Yeah, and I also think we've had just kind of a funny experience of people saying it's for a gift, and then we see them and we're like, well, how did the gift go? And they're like, they never got the gift. So
they never gave the gift because they kept it for themselves.
Sorry, you declare. Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things like, oh, it's a gift for somebody, but then once you use it, it's kind of like you're married to it and you really enjoy working with it.
Okay, so if you had to choose, Eric, between these three boards, and you had to think of somebody you really like, and it can't be me. Okay, what do you think? Which board do you think you would feel most driven to like gift?
To gift?
Well, you can only pick one.
But it depends on who you're giving it to, though.
I know, but I'm saying in your mind, think of somebody.
I think actually the monster would be like the middle of the road kind of one. Based our dog is.
I
think the monster actually, because some like if I got the Mega Monster as a gift, which would be super cool, it's you would have to know that person well. And then the Mega Whalebone is like it's meant for working, like I'm coming over and there better be tons of food there. So I think that the monster is kind of a nice thing because it's like burgers or fries. It's enough that you can kind of it
can be a good layup, but it's also it is good in the kitchen too.
Yeah, but you can't put me on the spot like that because it depends on.
What I would honestly
yes.
do?
What would you do?
If it's somebody I really like and I know they like food, I think the Mega Monster, because it's so out of the ordinary and it's not, it's like it's something like. But it's just like what sparks creativity. And then that's the amazing thing. I was talking with somebody recently who inspired me to think more consciously about gifting in terms of like, listening closely and sort of hearing where somebody's pleasures are. And then, figuring out from there kind of a unique gift. Not that it's the most expensive gift, but it's just like it fits that zone for that person. And I think if I was for the person I'm thinking about, the Mega Monster would be.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of thought put into from our end, designing it and finishing. So when you design it, it's one thing, and then you cut it out, but then the actual finishing on all of these boards, it takes a bit. So you really want to carry that over to that thought process to who's going to get it as a gift. And if you go online, you can see like we have really thought through cutting boards. like there might be
We got a PhD.
yeah, there might be something that we're missing and so forth, but generally speaking, if you go online and see it, there's quite a bit of variances. But they're kind of unique to our, they're our tone of design, clean edge. So, kind of put that energy into deciding, take that time to go through and see what's there. And if you have questions and so forth, please reach out to us.
Yeah, yeah, especially as the holiday season comes and maybe you've got that event or person that you're thinking about. So hope you've enjoyed our board talk.
Take care.